Good morning, you guys. So I recently finished a video over at Durham Elementary just showing some of the tropical greens, stuff we grow in the summertime for greens here in Houston. And I remember when I was learning about these plants, looking for them, that there was never this really, compiled, compact sort of way of like introducing me to all these plants. So that's what I want to do. This is part 2 of that video, and we're here at my little can yard, place where I propagate plants for sharing for gardens, and I just wanted to introduce you to a few more really great edible summertime plants. First off on the list would be this one. This is called rice paddy herb. So this is Limnophylla aromatica, and this is a really great wetland plant, so it's going to grow in like a bog for you, and it's going to grow crazy all warm season. It's got a really nice spiciness to it. So another plant that should be on the list that I don't have here is shiso, and I would probably say it's pretty similar to shiso in that you could almost eat it straight, but it's a little bit more herbally and really great for soups and stews. So we're gonna have to move around. Some of these plants you're going to recognize, like the roselle we already saw and the bele, but the ones that really inspired this video, let me grab. This is New Zealand spinach. New Zealand spinach is a really great spinach type green, so very mild, eaten raw easily, covers the ground, so you can tell it's sprawling ground cover, grows with warm weather really well, germinates best really early in the year. But this is seed that already dropped like back in April that's sprouting again in random pots. And then these two kind of inspired this wanting to share more because they're volunteers. This is a really great plant that reseeds itself readily. This is called Malokia or Egyptian spinach. And you can see the leaves are a lot thinner than some of the others that have, like the New Zealand, like the Talinum, a lot of them. But it is super mild, just like lettuce. Grows really well in hot, dry, compacted. Like this is a tough plant, and makes some cool green seeds that will just pop up everywhere. So hiding back here behind the papaya, this is another herbal kind of green. So let's see, put it here. This is Culantro. So Culantro is, basically a warm season flavor substitute for cilantro. And so it grows really well in the heat. It drops really small seeds, so it can reseed itself if there's not a lot of mulch on the surface. So really small seeds. It can be annual, that these have put out a seed and are growing again from last year. So that's Culantro. And then over here in the sun we have really, this is top shelf, top of the list edible greens. This is KangKong or Aptenia aquatica, and I would have picked it up and brought it over to the shade, but it's I went and air layered it, so these pots are all connected. I need to cut it first, but you can just see how it just has run, and I just rooted it there, and then I rooted it in another pot. It's super prolific, just like a sweet potato. It's an Aptenia genus, which is the same as sweet potato. Super prolific, but the greens are even better than sweet potato greens. So really thin, really mild, just like perfect lettuce. So KangKong Aptenia aquatica. And then over here, I can bring this one to the shade so we can see it better. This is Katuk, so Serapis genus, I think. Really thin leaf, a lot like the Egyptian spinach, really nice, mild like lettuce. This one would be a little bit lower on the list only because it's fully tropical. So unless you have a way to bring it inside for the winter, it's going to freeze out. So it needs to be basically in a pot, but it can produce a good bit of food, and it can grow pretty well in the shade. And then back here, so there is an entire group of plants. So this is an amaranth that a friend gave me that's supposedly a really nice edible leaf amaranth. But amaranth is a really broad genus, just tons of species, and they're almost all edible or make seeds, just incredible. So As far as edible amaranth go, you could look into the common name callaloo, but pigweed is also, you know, a group of amaranth, and all of them, when they're young and tender, they're really good edibles. So amaranth is something to look into for very quick season annual growing, so something that might reseed and drop seeds, but definitely a great warm season edible leafy green. Alright, so over here on this side we have got the cassava cuttings. So this is cassava or yucca, and these are edible leafy greens, but they need to be cooked. They got the hydrogen cyanide. And then we've got, in the bright sun here, this is an Aptenia, and Aptenia and Delosperma are both very ornamental plants, but also edible plants. There's another Culantro, more longevity spinach, all edibles. We've got Chaya. So the other Chaya you saw had a different leaf shape. So this is just the maple leaf Chaya versus the more divided leaf Chaya. And these are just so easy from cuttings. Chaya is just like cassava. If you've seen my video on rooting cassava, you can cut those stems and just take off the leaves and they'll sit for a month. And then last one on the list is going to be Purslane. So if you look at these guys, these are just volunteers. Portulaca Purslane is a great summertime edible green. You know, reseeds itself, grows like a weed, and just loves heat and dryness and makes a lot of food. Alright you guys, so that's all of the new plants that I can think of right now. Hopefully some of them were new to you, so you can add them to your garden, add them to your list, and just really recognize that there's so much out there for sustaining, supporting us, and that diversity is a key to all this. Diversity of thought, diversity of opinion, and diversity of plants in your garden. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.